focus on idioms and phrases for CMAT. We are organizing, or we are conducting this session because a lot of students got back to us and said that they are worried about CMAT, especially idioms and phrases. So apparently we do not get to spend a lot of time working on idioms and phrases, and therefore it obviously confuses us. Let's just go ahead. We know that we have the CMAT details. There are 5 different sections. Within language comprehension, we get questions based on grammar, reading comprehension, sentence jumble, para jumble, even critical reasoning. And then of course we have a lot of vocabulary based questions. And one of those vocab based questions is idioms and phrases. So if you're new, that is something that you would definitely like to look at. So before I move further, what do you understand by idiomatic expressions? What do we mean by idiomatic expressions really? So I'm sure we've all heard of idioms. We've all heard of phrases. We've all heard of something called even phrasal verbs for that matter. They are also kind of idiomatic expressions. So what exactly are these? So it's actually pretty straightforward. You can think of idioms as words, but then the issue is an idiom refers to a common expression that means something different from the literal meaning of the word. We do not interpret these literally. To give you an easy example to begin with, how about this phrase called easy does it? You've heard of easy does it. So we use easy does it to tell somebody that he should do something slowly and carefully. So imagine there is a person who has had a major surgery and he is getting off the bed for the first time after that surgery. So you want to tell him to be careful, to take it slow instead of really rushing into it. So you'd simply say that, okay, now easy. So when that person is about to get up, you can say now easy does it. Or here is another one. I can say, let's say that you are picking up a flower pot to shift it from one place to another. So I'd say that, hey, this flower pot is fragile. So easy does it. So easy does it means do it slowly and carefully. Or here is another one. But his girlfriend led him by the nose to get him to the shopping mall. So when you lead someone by the nose, what do? Guesses? So when you lead somebody by the nose, you control that person and you make that person do exactly what you want. And this idiom, as you can see, actually comes from, you see this bull here with a ring in his nose. So bull is usually very strong, but his nose is a very sensitive part. So when you want, so normally you would see as a result, people would put this ring in the nose of the cows or the bulls or the buffaloes. That makes it easy for them to take wherever they want them to. Because a little pull, a little tug, and it is very painful and they are likely to follow suit. Right? Or here is one more. How about Rohan is a green hand? What if I say Rohan is a green hand? What does that mean? Take a guess. Rohan is a green hand. Oh, Pandya, that's why you seem to be a lucky charm. You're not late. In fact, I faced some technical issues at the beginning, so you're kind of in time. So I'll give you a hint. When I say Rohan is a green hand, it means that if I ask Rohan to do something, he's likely to look at me like this, that, oh, I wonder how you're supposed to do it. So a green hand is an inexperienced person, a person who do not know how to go about certain things, certain jobs. So when the examiner tests you on idioms, these are the kind of things that he'd get into. So here is one last question. एक और हो जाए? बोलो, एक और हो जाए? Okay, so here is one last question for you. Before I start the actual multiple choice questions, If I tell you that somebody is hairy at the heels, what is that supposed to mean? So if I tell you that a person is hairy at the heel, what does it mean? Do you need a hint? Let me give you a hint. When I say hairy at the heel, I'm talking about someone like this. So what's your guess? So as you can see, these are all persons who are known to play the roles of villains, the roles of bad guys in the movies. So can you get the meaning from here? So if somebody is hairy at the heel, it basically means that the person is dangerous or untrustworthy, uncivilized, ill-bred, uncouth, right? So if I advise you against meeting somebody, I think you should not meet this person XYZ because he's hairy at the heel, then you know exactly what I am communicating about these persons. So that's basically idioms for you, the introduction. And let's start with our questions now. So every question will give you an idiom either as a standalone entity or as part of a sentence. Your job will be to give me the correct meaning of that idiom, and you would have 30 seconds to do that. Okay, so shall we start? So here is your first question and your time starts now. Leg up. If you give someone a leg up, what do you mean by it? Come on, come on. Where are the answers, guys? Answers, people, answers. Okay. So, yet to see an answer so far at my end, but I'm all ears. Okay, so loads and loads of A's. Loads and loads of A's. Okay, that sounds good. So, when it comes to this particular question, if you have marked A as your answer, you are absolutely correct. So, the phrase leg up means an act of helping someone to improve their situation. So, when you want to help somebody to improve his or her situation, then you give that person a leg up. So, for example, do you remember this chap called Yo-Yo Honey Singh? Yo-Yo Honey Singh. So Yo-Yo Honey Singh gave hip hop or rap music a much needed leg up in the Indian movies. So he gave it a leg up basically means that he popularized it. It helped it grow. So that's what leg up means, and that is why in this particular question, I think the closest answer that we have is A. B is too literal, and C and D are of course not linked with it. Here is your next question. Question number 2 on the screen, and your time starts now. This should be easy. I think I'd expect most of you to go ahead and answer this question correctly. So you have just 15 seconds to go. ना बाद में ना कहना भी पहले इससे वार्निंग 15 सेकंड ही है. Swati, when it comes to idioms, I wouldn't even use the word confusion. See, every idiom has a particular meaning. So that meaning is the one that we are looking for, really. So they're just like words in that sense. Every word has a meaning. Whether we know it or not is what the game is, right? So in question number 2, our answer should be option A. So when you project something in a positive light, it basically means that you look at it in a very favorable way, or you project it in a favorable light. So that's what it really stands for. Nothing more, nothing less, right? That is why in a positive light. Fair enough? So let's go ahead and choose A as our answer here and move over to the next question. Question number 3 on your screen, and your time starts now. So let me give you a hint as well. Have a shot at this question. Pranav, definitely. A context can make it easier, but I wouldn't say that it is always easier. In fact, I have some such questions here today. Once we go through that, we'll be able to see whether they make it easier every single time or not. 5 seconds. Oh, yes, absolutely yes, guys. The correct answer is indeed option D. So have a shot at, you remember words have this quality called polysemy where a single word can have multiple meanings. Similarly, idioms too can have multiple meanings, right? So it can mean to try something. It can mean to have a chance to achieve something or succeed at something. For example, let us say you have a crush on somebody and all your friends tell you that, oh, go. Ask that person out. You have a shot at it. So they're telling you that you have a chance to become successful. Then it also has a very peculiar meaning that exists only in Australia. So in Australia, primarily, when you say have a shot at someone, you're basically criticizing that person. So you realize it has these 3 different meanings. One of them is to try something. And if you look at option D, to attempt, that's pretty close to that. And that is why we've gone on to mark option D. And I sincerely hope none of you have marked option B, and that's actually correct, because anybody who marks B, I would probably look at you strangely. Okay, question number 4 on your screen, and your time starts now. Pick up the tab. Just a second. Okay, so 5 seconds to go. Absolutely, guys. The correct answer is indeed option A. So when you say pick up the tab, it simply means to pay for something. For example, I can say, oh, my company will pick up the tab for my moving expenses if I'm transferred and I go from one place to another. So typically, let's say we normally use it in much simpler situations. Let us say you are out at a restaurant with some friends of yours, and then finally the bill comes in. So if you say that, oh, I'll pick up the tab, it means that you are going to pay that bill. Okay, so that's what it really stands for. So here is your next question on your screen, and your time starts now. This can be tricky for some of us. Yes, Pranav, absolutely. Put it on my tab can also be used, indeed. But then put it on my tab would basically mean that you will eventually settle it. It does not mean that you're paying for it straight away. So there's a tiny difference. Otherwise, absolutely. So what's our take on 5th? A lot of people are taking much longer, much longer. So no love lost. Okay, so some of you are definitely going to be in for a surprise. The correct answer here is option B, intense dislike. So if you say there is no love lost between 2 people, you mean that those 2 people do not like each other at all. So for the first couple of 100 years of the use of this expression, no love lost was used to refer to either extreme like or extreme dislike. But then gradually, with the passage of time, that extreme like meaning moved out, and we are just left with extreme or intense dislike. Okay, so this is one of those expressions which is actually kind of opposite of what the word literally or what the expression literally stands for. So intense dislike, that's how you're supposed to use it. And with that, let me take you into your next question, where I am giving you a sentence this time around where the idiom is underlined. So what's the meaning in this given context, in this given sentence? What do you think? And your time starts now, before I forget. Okay, so we have 5 seconds to go. Oh, wow. The Deepya turned out to be really fast this time around. And I think most of the answers that are trickling in are also correct. So the correct answer indeed is option B. And since everybody has managed to get this right, I think we can safely move on from here. So if you say that something will not happen in a month of Sundays, you mean that it is very unlikely to happen. So in the given context, it means that the speaker never thought that he or she would end up regretting his or her decision and therefore B. So normally something which is very, very, very unlikely to happen. And here is another idiom which is found more often in our spoken language. So here it is. Have a cow. What do you understand by have a cow? Let's go ahead and have a look at it. Prajwal, Anshul, I hope that we know the correct meaning now. So, have a cow. Okay, now typically when we say have a cow, uh, it basically means that somebody is angered or upset. Okay, so say my mother had a cow when I said I was going to buy a super bike. You know, all these super bikes, they cost in excess of 15, 16 lakhs. So my mother had a cow would basically mean she was very angry, she was very upset, right? So the expression that we hear more often in our day-to-day life is this. So in that sense, I think the answer is very clearly D. But then the expression that we encounter more often in our daily life is this one. Don't have a cow. So don't have a cow is another way to say calm down. You know, don't flip out. So it is usually reserved for someone who is overreacting to a situation that is not very serious. Right? So it's not a very sensitive way to say calm down, but then pretty casual, you can definitely use it among friends. So don't have a cow, man, is calm down, relax, chill, don't overreact, don't flip out. So that's what it really stands for. So I hope you'd be able to use it or make it a part of your everyday life and add a little more of that richness to your communication. So A it is. So I know that cow has a certain image in our society, but then these are British idioms and they have their own quirks, their own idiosyncrasies. So it is D. So both of them, now you know have a cow, you also know don't have a cow. And with that, let's dive into our next. So since we are talking about animals, we talked about cow. How about crow? What's your answer for this one? Phoenix, actually, yes, indeed. That is why this can be a little tricky when it comes in the exams. हाँ, हिंदी में तो गऊ है ना, हमारा बेटा या बेटी तो गऊ है, गऊ, गाय है, गाय. 3, 2, 1, go. So the correct answer here is option B. So B for BYJU'S. So you see that? Eat crow basically means accepting that I am or the person is wrong. So there are times when you end up doing something or saying something which is wrong and which leads to embarrassment and shame. So it's then that we say that he had to eat crow over the statements that he made last night. Okay, so B it is. And with that, let's dive into our next question, where you have a very popular idiom called pardon my French, and your time starts now right above me. Pardon my French. Is actually a weird expression. I'll tell you why it is weird. Okay. So we have once again, Daidipya is doing really fine today. Phoenix, Shraddha. Shraddha, eat crow is to eat humble pie. Absolutely. You can use to eat a humble pie as a synonym for eat a crow. So the correct answer here is option B. So see, there are some expressions, some words that we are not supposed to use in a polite company, in a formal situation. For example, right now at this channel, I cannot use the F word. I cannot call somebody a hole, So, but what if I'm so full of emotion that I feel कि यार गाली के बिना बात बनेगी नहीं. But then I'm in a polite company, right? So I shouldn't ideally be using those words, but I want to. So I look at the other person and say, pardon my friend, pardon my French, but that guy is beep, beep, and beep. So it's like a preemptive apology, right? It is an anticipatory apology. But then the truth is, it is not really an apology. If you are really sorry for something, you won't even do it, right? You just want to tell the other person that you're sorry. In reality, you are not. You don't mind using those words or those expressions. So, you have this concept of an anticipatory bail in the legal system, right? So this is an anticipatory apology, just in case the other person gets offended. Okay. So here goes question number 9. Moving into question number 10 now on your screen, where this question gives you a phrasal verb. So you know a phrasal verb. A phrasal verb is a verb along with a preposition, mostly at times even an adverb. But this combination leads to a different meaning altogether. Different meaning. Right? So one such example is on your screen, put out, and your time starts now, and you're supposed to share the meaning here. Thank you, Shivam. I'm glad you liked it. And even more importantly, I hope you won't forget that now, huh? Yes, absolutely yes. I think even before the time ends, we can lock it. The correct answer here is D. Prajwal, put out genuine. It won't even fit into this context, right? The correct meaning should definitely make sense in the context, at least when we have sentences. So D it is. And with that, let's dive into our next question. Question number 11 on your screen, and your time starts now. I am very keen to see who all gets it right. And the time is over, and most of you have actually managed to get this right. The correct answer is indeed option B, dating. If a person is going out with someone else, then those two are involved in a romantic relationship. So there you go. And all of you know these things. I know. ऐसे में दिक्कत थोड़ी होती है हमें. हमें दिक्कत दूसरों में होती है. Okay. Here it is. So the next one, and your time starts now. Question number 12. Let's pick up the pace. Let's leave some burn marks on the track. So question number 12, guys, what's our answer? Oh, so fast, some of you, huh? And yes, the correct answer is B. अबे डी कौन देर अबे ए भी मजाक कर रहा है यार तू डी okay to kick the bucket basically means to die. Let me give you another idiomatic expression that is linked with it, and that idiomatic expression is bucket list. So a bucket list is a list of those things that you want to do before you die. So you remember, if so some of us have this, right? To a list of 20 things that you want to do before you die. So that's called a bucket list. So dying is to kick the bucket. You can actually recall that some people who die by suicide, by hanging themselves, they generally kick the stool or the bucket in order to finish the act. That's the gruesome, grim origin of this particular expression. And mind you, at one of the IIMs, there is a professor who in his very first class asks everybody to create a bucket list. It's a good exercise. Try it someday. Here is the 13th question on your screen, and your time starts now. Vib is saying greedily tells every day itself. Could not understand it. Oh yes, Piyush. Zindagi na milegi dobara. Huh? YOLO. Or carpe diem. If I look at it from a literary perspective. Okay, so what is touch and go for you? Let us see. So if you say that something is touch and go, you basically saying that you are uncertain whether it will happen or not, whether it will succeed or not. For example, have a look at this tiny little clip. And now you see the run out is a touch and go affair, right? Touch and go. You're not sure whether the batsman was called out or not here. Huh? You are uncertain. So this run out seems to be touch and go. And therefore, if we have to mark an answer here, I think the closest to that idea is option C, unpredictable, and therefore we've gone ahead and cracked this too. So, but then is this session good or not? Is that a touch and go thing for you? If not, it's not a touch and go thing, just go ahead and hit that like button so that we make that unambiguous and pretty straightforward. Okay, okay. I missed out on that context. Now I know. Okay, the next question on your screen, and your time starts now. This is used in our daily lives very frequently by the people around. So let us see if you are able to pick up the right answer or not. Nana Piyush, that was MS Dhoni who was getting run out. One of those extremely rare instances where Dhoni got run out. It did not have Harnaam. That was Dhoni, yaar. Seriously. Crazy Ajay has definitely identified that. So our answer to question number 14 is A. If you are able to buy something for a song, it means that you got it for very less money. So you got it very cheaply, right? Here is the next one. This is something that we don't hear that often in the world around us, but here it is, and your time starts now. अबे मतलब कितना सॉलिड जीके है रे तुम में से कुछ लोगों का क्रिकेट को लेके. हाँ, let's hope that you do equally well at the kind of GK that is asked in the exams. See, these things prove that you have a very sharp mind for trivia and information, which means that you're a really good candidate for learning vocabulary and idioms. Okay, so done with question number 15. Elvis has left the building. So there was this great singer, performer, actor in the US. His name was Elvis Presley. He used to be very popular. Now, Elvis Presley used to have concerts. Now, the deal was, lot of people, even when the concert got over, a lot of people stayed behind in the hope of an encore. कि क्या पता वापस आके फिर से गा जाए. Or maybe he'd come back to the stage once again and we'd get to see him. So the announcers, the MCs, they got into that habit of telling the audience that Elvis has left the building. Which basically means that, oh, he's left, don't stay, you can also go. He's no longer here, he's not going to come back. So from there it gradually became this expression that refers to a situation where an event or performance has come to an end. Right? And that is why in this particular question, we'd go ahead and choose B as our answer. Agrima, once again, I use the word confusing to refer to those things that require mind, that require reasoning. This is not confusing. It's a simple knowledge-based thing. We know the meaning of an idiom or we do not. If we do not, then we'll not be able to answer it correctly, but it is not confusing. It's just realize it is just about retaining more and more of these expressions in our mind. So here is your next question on the screen. Your time starts now. I hope you find it easier, or to borrow the phrase used by some of you, not confusing. Not confusing. So what's your take on this guy? Took him to task. So here you go, the correct answer here. I think some of us may get confused between A and D, but the correct answer is A. When you take somebody to task, you reprimand a person or you criticize a person. You don't punish. You tell that person that what you did was wrong and I don't expect you to do it again. वो घर वाले जब डांटते हैं, डांट थोड़ी ना punishment होती है. Punishment is something else. Punishment is where they lock you in a room or they withdraw certain privileges or things from you. Those are the kind of things that are punishments. Taking somebody to task it remains purely at the level of words. You just said things which are hurtful and the other person makes it amply clear that according to that person what you did was not done, not okay. So A it is. And here comes your next question. Question number 17 on your screen and your time starts now. Run down happens to have multiple meanings. Let's see what you choose. The cooler Parth Deshpande. Parth Deshpande, I'm assuming that you have another Parth in your life, huh? हाँ दिवांकर, मुर्गा बनो इज अ पनिशमेंट, बट तुमने ठीक नहीं किया, अगली बार करोगे तो मुर्गा बना दूंगा. That's reprimand, rebuke, criticism, even a threat. Okay, so rundown also happens to have, see, the multiple meanings. Okay, so one of the meanings of rundown is to reduce in size or number or resources. Okay, so let's say in this Russia-Ukraine battle, both the armies are trying to run down the other army. They're trying to ensure that the other army exhausts its resources. So that's one. Then rundown can also mean to stop functioning. So when we say the battery has run down, right? Then rundown can also mean to gradually deteriorate something in quality. So these are the three common meanings. So out of the four, I think B is closest to one of those three meanings, right? The battery has run down. And that's why we'd go ahead and choose B as our answer in this particular case. Here is your next question. On the screen, question number 18, stand over. It is tricky. Let us see what you choose. It's tricky because it is not a very frequently used phrasal verb, not a very frequently used idiomatic expression. And just like vocabulary, right? When things are less frequent, they become more challenging. Less fewer number of people would then know the meaning of that expression. I'd call it a difficult question, okay? But give it a try. You never know. There is no negative marking here on our YouTube channel.